The throne room stretched before them like a cathedral of nightmares. Bioluminescent veins pulsed through obsidian walls, casting sickly green light across the assembled horde. Emma pressed her hand against the plasma burn on her ribs, feeling the tacky blood beneath her torn uniform. Beside her, Harry stood with that infuriating smirk still plastered across his face, even as a dozen Velk warriors leveled their particle lances at his chest. The alien queen rose from her throne, her forearms spreading wide in a gesture that might have been welcoming, if not for the razor-sharp talons at each fingertip. She stood nearly 12 feet tall, her chitinous exoskeleton gleaming like polished armor. Her compound eyes fixed on the two humans, with the cold calculation of a predator, sizing up prey. "Humans," she hissed. Her voice, a symphony of clicks and whistles translated through the neural implants all species wore. "You have destroyed 3 of my warships. You have killed 200 of my finest warriors. You have disrupted our rightful conquest of this sector." She descended the steps, slowly, deliberately. "For these crimes, you will kneel before me and beg for the mercy of a swift death." Emma glanced at Harry, hoping to see some flicker of the tactical genius that had gotten them this far. Instead, she saw him examining his fingernails with theatrical disinterest. "Harry," she whispered urgently. "Oh, I have a plan," he murmured back. "Just trust me." The queen reached the bottom step, her entourage of guards forming a semicircle around the two prisoners. The air thrummed with suppressed violence, with the promise of blood about to be spilled. "Kneel," the queen commanded, her voice reverberating through the chamber like thunder. "Kneel, or die." Harry looked up then, meeting those alien eyes with his own steel-gray gaze. The smirk on his face widened into a full grin, the kind of expression that Emma had learned meant he was about to do something monumentally stupid or brilliantly insane. "Make me," he said simply. The chamber fell silent. Even the bioluminescent veins seemed to dim, as if the ship itself held its breath. The Velk warriors glanced at each other in confusion. No species in the known galaxy spoke to the queen this way. Entire civilizations had been reduced to ash for lesser insults. The queen's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement or rage, Emma couldn't tell which. "You dare?" "I dare," Harry confirmed, taking a step forward despite the weapons trained on him. "You know what your problem is? You've conquered 47 species, 47 civilizations that folded the moment you showed up with your big ships and your scary exoskeletons. You've forgotten what it's like to face someone who doesn't scare easily. Harry, what are you doing?" He ignored her. "Humans? We're apex predators from a death world. We evolved, running our prey to exhaustion across savannas, where everything wanted to eat us. We turned wolves into pets. We split the atom just to see what would happen. We looked at the vacuum of space and thought, yeah, we should go there." The queen's head tilted, her compound eyes reflecting Harry's image 1,000 times over. "Big words from a species that numbers barely 8 billion against my trillions." "Numbers don't mean much," Harry replied, his voice dropping to something almost conversational. "See, you made a mistake when you attacked our colony on Kepler 442b. You thought we'd roll over like everyone else. But we're not wired that way. When humans get pushed, we don't kneel. We push back. Harder." Emma's hand moved subtly to the small device hidden in her boot, the one Harry had given her before they'd surrendered. She was beginning to understand. "You want me to kneel?" Harry continued, spreading his arms wide. "Here's the thing about humans, Your Majesty. We've knelt to kings and queens before. We've knelt to emperors and gods and tyrants. You know what happened to all of them? They're dust now. Dead empires, forgotten rulers, their thrones empty and their palaces ruins. Because eventually, every human gets tired of kneeling. And when we stand up, we don't sit back down." The queen's claws extended with a metallic screech. "Then, you choose. Death." "No," Harry said, his grin sharp as a blade. "I choose defiance. Emma, now." Emma triggered the device. Throughout the ship, the human viruses they'd uploaded during their capture activated simultaneously. Gravity plating failed. Life support systems flickered. Most importantly, the electromagnetic locks on every human prisoner cell opened. The Queen realized too late what had happened. The two humans before her weren't prisoners. They were the distraction. While she'd been focused on breaking their spirits, 3,000 captured human soldiers were arming themselves from the ship's own armory. Alarms shrieked. The throne room doors exploded inward. Commander Patricia Chen burst through, leading a squad of Marines in salvaged Velk armor. Plasma rifles blazing. Harry caught the weapon Chen tossed him without looking. "You know what the real difference is between humans and every other species you've conquered?" he asked the Queen, chambering around. "They were afraid of you. We're just pissed off." The battle that followed was brief and brutal. The Velk warriors, caught off guard in their own stronghold, fell to the coordinated assault of soldiers who'd spent months planning this exact moment. The Queen herself fought with savage fury, but even she couldn't stand against overwhelming odds. When it was over, she lay pinned beneath a fallen section of ceiling, her compound eyes dimming. Harry approached, no longer smiling. Emma limped beside him, her rifle still raised. "This changes nothing," the Queen rasped. "My fleet will destroy your world. Your fleet is currently being torn apart by the 15 human warships that just jumped into the system," Emma informed her coldly. "The ones you didn't see coming because you were so focused on making us kneel." "My." Harry crouched beside the dying monarch. "You wanted submission. You wanted fear. But humans? We're the species that looks at the thing that wants to kill us and asks, 'How can I turn this into a weapon?' We're the ones who turned our worst instincts, our aggression, our stubbornness, our absolute refusal to accept defeat into our greatest strengths." The Queen's eyes closed. "What are you?" Harry stood, helping Emma to her feet. "We're humanity, and we don't kneel." As they walked out of the throne room toward the waiting evacuation ships, Emma finally allowed herself to smile. "You know that was insane, right?" "Completely," Harry agreed cheerfully. "But it worked." Behind them, the Velk flagship shuddered as human demolition teams set their charges. The great ship symbol of an empire that had crushed dozens of species would soon be nothing but debris. The war wasn't over. It would rage for years still. Bitter and costly. But the Velk had learned something that day. Something that would ripple through the galaxy. Humans didn't break easily, and when you tried to make them kneel, they had an annoying habit of standing up and punching you in the face instead. Sometimes, defiance was more powerful than any weapon. The end.